What's going on, guys? This is Williams, and in today's video we are going to talk about a super agent called GenSpark AI. Now, why is everyone talking about GenSpark AI? Maybe because it solves tasks that other bigger big names like GPT-4 can't or couldn't. From generating ideas, to debugging code and more, this particular thing does, things that you don't even expect for a tool that's just new out there. So it has to really catch attention. So what we are going to do in this video is to showcase some of the most powerful features of this tool, and I strongly suggest you watch to the end. So let's get started. Okay, so this is the interface of GenSpark AI. You don't even need to log in to use the system, but I signed up anyway. You don't need to log in, but when you do log in, you have access to things like the AI drive. You have access to some other things that would require you to integrate your account with. So GenSpark, as you can see from the title, just calls it an all-in-one AI workspace, and that's true. And when I found this tool, I was really speechless, because it does practically everything that you would need an AI system to do. Look at this. There's even a video generation feature. You can generate images, and when you hover your mouse on this, you can even see the models used. You can have access to Flux, Gemini. You can have access to OpenAI's models, and for videos you can have access to Kling, Pixverse, also Gemini, and it also gives you access to View 3. So some of these features look basically similar to what you can do with other tools, but you hardly find them all in one place like this. And for you to create a new project, just hover your mouse on this new icon, and you would see just similar things to this. And one thing that I enjoyed using with GenSpark is the AI parts. Yes, you can process your slides, you can work on sheets, you can just like Google Docs or Google Sheets or Google Slides. You can do all these things with GenSpark, but the really interesting part for me has been the AI parts, because it works very similar to Notebook LM, whereby you give it a title. Notebook LM depends on sources for you to be able to generate a podcast, but with this, all you need to do is to give it a topic. Yes, you can also give it other sources like YouTube videos, links to websites, or even files when you upload from here. But you can just go ahead and just type a topic on your own if you want to freestyle it, and you can customize this by just mentioning the tone to use, be it professional, be it maybe you want it to sound a bit witty. You can do that, and it comes with realistic voices too, because the models used for this also are models from 11 Labs. Okay, so let's say we want to generate a podcast on why we shouldn't see AI as the enemy, because a lot of people talk about AI taking our jobs, and this has been the conversation for years. And yes, some of the things we mentioned about AI have come to pass, but they're still not taking our jobs, rather making us well, it's still debatable, but then they are making us work better, and in a faster and more efficient way if you use it in the right way. So this is just the topic I gave it. I haven't included any links, I haven't included any files. That's the difference between this and Notebook LM. And if this is all I have in mind, I don't have any specifics, well, I can just go ahead and tell it, all right, generate this. And I like the particular animation that comes with this when you're generating. Just hold on a bit and you would see it here. But just look at this doing its own research. I'll create a thoughtful podcast exploring why we shouldn't view AI as the enemy. Let me start by gathering comprehensive information. So it goes online, checks, for documents, just so that whatsoever is discussed in the podcast is from credible, it's from sources that you can verify, and you can even see it's trying to summarize large documents, which means it probably maybe found some research papers or some very large articles, just so that it can get the full grasp of what the topic is before it can do that. And you can see that it also went ahead to generate a topic for us, saying reframing AI, exploring its positive impact. So that's what the topic is. And right now I am interested in just showing you how this works. Okay, so while it's generating this, I decided to just show the thinking process of this. It's saying, let me gather some additional information about AI applications in solving global challenges. Now I have a comprehensive information. Let me reflect before creating the podcast. Like, really? And it's using GPT to create a particular image, and this might be more like a cover for the podcast. And this is the animation I love. Just look at some AI agents doing their thing. Just in an office that looks like everyone has their own role, and this is really interesting. I haven't seen an AI system that keeps you engaged when running the process of creating whatsoever it is that you asked it to create. So this I couldn't just stop looking at this when I first generated the podcast using this. And it's not just about the animations that you see before generating the podcast. When this podcast gets created, it's top notch, because the voice, the specifications move with whatsoever it is that you've given it as your requirement. So this is the GPT image generated, and this is what can be used for just the cover. So it also makes sense. We shouldn't see AI as the enemy. So that's why there's a mutual agreement between humans and AI here. And this is really doing its thing. So I'm still going to pause the video and come back when the whole generation is done. Alright, so the podcast has been generated, and look at this. This is close to 6 minutes worth of podcast audio that you can just go ahead and export. It's quite easy, and it went ahead to attach the cover image, and it doesn't stop there. Yes, you can generate a podcast using Notebook LM, like I said. The only difference is you can't just type the title as it is. You must provide it with sources that it can fetch from. That's fine, but that's not the only difference. With this, you can have access to the script, and this is exactly what the conversation, how the conversation went in the entire podcast. And you can think of so many helpful use cases with this script, because this is really conversational. You can still put it in another AI tool and analyze whatsoever it is that you want to analyze from this conversation. But so let's go ahead and listen to just a few seconds from it.
Welcome to AI, Partner, Not Enemy, the podcast where we cut through the noise to explore how artificial intelligence is shaping a better future. I'm Alex.
And I'm Ben. It's impossible to ignore the headlines about AI.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what you read, it's either the dawn of a new utopia or the beginning of the end.
Right.
The image of a hostile, job-stealing robot is pretty hard to shake.
It really is. And those fears aren't just, fantasy.
No.
They tap into real anxieties about change and the unknown. People worry, will a machine take my job? Can we trust these complex systems?
Yeah,
And these are the right questions to be asking.
but they might be based on a flawed premise. We tend to frame it as humans versus AI.
Right.
What if that's the wrong way to look at it entirely? Let's start with a big myth that AI
Okay, so that was just a few seconds out of the entire audio. I decided to pause it because that's not what you're here for, right? But you could hear the voice. I mean, in Notebook LM, the way the guy sounds, it's always the same. And the way the lady also sounds, it's always, the same, regardless of the topic you are discussing. So this is quite different. You could hear their like the way they sound, and this is even with just little information that we've given it. So assuming we decided to add more info, like sound this way or do stuff like this, like it would have come out based on the specifications we've given it. And you can see an overview of the episode also for that particular podcast and the key topics covered. So assuming you have like a platform where you post podcast conversations, this would be very perfect because you can just put this in the description and say these were the key topics covered, and this is the podcast itself. And well, you also have access to save it to Notion and just use it some other time. Exporting is quite easy. You can use this to share the link. Before it does so, it's going to export it to the AI drive, which you would only have access if you register for, like, create an account on it. From here, you can download to your local machine. AI drive comes with 1 gig of space, for a free account. So if you want to reduce files, you can go ahead and delete, or you can upgrade and use the premium version, which comes with more space. Well, this is just the podcast section. So when you create a free account, you have access to all these tools. GenSpark also has a GenSpark browser that they are so proud of. You can see on the screen right now some of the things that you can do with GenSpark browser. It says it's lightning fast. It comes with ad blocking capabilities. It's full agentic. It has an autopilot mode, which is really interesting. One other thing that I was really also impressed with is the ability for you to integrate tools. So you can add your Google Suite. You can just add your Google Drive. Install Google Drive and log in and use the contents of your Google Drive. And you can integrate your calendar, which means based on what's contained in your calendar, you can set up appointments and check your schedule and do all those things using AI completely. And you can use MCP tools. Just look at how many of these tools you have access to. There are so many. This is over 631 tools from the community, which means GenSpark gives room for people to create tools that follow their own guidelines and are quite useful to what will really help people. So for instance, let's say you decide to download a GenSpark browser and use the Twitter Content Explorer, or X Content Explorer. What this does is when you use your Twitter account, this helps you to search and explore Twitter content, X content, and with full automation, you can find specific tweets, you can browse user pages, you can search for keywords that normally would require you to go to Twitter or x.com and search for all those things. And not that you can do all those searches by yourself, but Twitter, or X, why do I keep calling it Twitter? X is a social media platform, and it can be distracting, especially if you are looking for something serious. You just want to search for something serious like job openings, maybe for those handles that post job openings, and in the process you see a tweet of someone falling off a tree and you become distracted because you want to just watch it for a few seconds, and before then you are not doing what took you there. So this focuses mainly on that thing which you are looking for, and it's really helpful. There are other things that you can do with this tool, and the MCP tools really do help. For the AI image generator, it's not one that I've tested, to the core, but it doesn't just generate AI images. You can do also image to video. You can do stuff like remove backgrounds. You can do the magic eraser thing. You can also do magic redraw, which this is really good because you may have an object already there and you would probably want to change it to something else and maintain the background. It does that. You can do image on blur, you can do image expand. You can also use a feature called AI try on, and it's just so amazing what this tool can do. That's for the image section. For the AI video section, it supports models that you are already familiar with. Cadence is one. You can see all the models that you can use. There's Google Gemini Veo 3. There's also the Veo 3 Fast, and be sure that you have credits before you use these aspects. Because yes, it's going to give you this, but you must have credits, and each of these models take credits differently, but you have access to all these models. There's a Kling, there's the Runway ML. This is really nice, and you can either do image to video, or you can just decide to type a prompt here and select the duration of the video, then an aspect ratio, and generate your own video. That's why this tool is called the all-in-one AI workspace, because GenSpark AI has really done a lot in incorporating this. There's a feature called Call for Me, and it works in a similar way with what Google talked about in their Google I/O, whereby you would need to verify a phone number, like you are to indicate your own phone number, and once you do so, it's going to answer calls for you, and in a not so automated way, because yes, it's not going to be your voice, but it's going to pick up calls for you. And this will be particularly helpful in a business where the person may not really be expecting to hear just your voice, because it's a business place. So the AI would be the one serving the person, giving the person responses and asking the right questions, and this would ensure that you never miss a call because you might not always be available. So GenSpark AI also offers this feature, which is I really can't fathom how far this tool can go, because it's still new and it already has all these. These are podcasts created by people, and they use the most recent data. This was generated 11th July, and this is 2025. So the topic discussed within this AI pod is one that has recent data, and that's why you saw all that research going on. Oh yeah, so if I am to continue using GenSpark AI, then by now you could tell that the AI pod is going to be one of my favorite features to use, even though these other features are really helpful, like the AI docs, for instance. You want to generate your resume, for instance, and all you know is you can tell an AI about yourself. You can decide to use the voice, or you can just type what you want to type. What you know about yourself that you can tell the AI to put in the resume. You can do that, and what it's going to do now is to generate a resume, and not just resume, it could also be a report or a contract based on the templates available. So just check this tool out. I would highly recommend you do it. Yeah, you do check it out. It's not sponsored. It's basically just me being impressed by a tool that has done its assignments to cover all the bases, or most of the bases. Like for a free account, you have access to 200 free credits per day, and you have access to 1 gig storage with the AI drive. You have limited access to AI models and agents, just like I've shown you in the video generation feature. So would you use this tool? I mean, would you trust this tool to save your files in their AI drive? Or I mean, how would you use this tool? Like, how do you see yourself using this tool? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know if you have heard of this tool, and if you have you used it? And if you've used it, how have you used it? But if you haven't, this is the time for you to check it out. So thank you for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.